Hi, Sue Rose Minahan, February 12, 2021, Top Cosmos host, and this is Now Chat. And today, the new movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, is storming with popularity of figuring out it'll be on HBO. And it's about 1969. The Black Panthers, one of the leaders in Illinois, Fred Hampton, was killed. And J. Edgar Hoover was the FBI director who had really when history looks back, a very controversial leadership. And we have to remember that it's people that make up the government. And so, yes, the government acts, and we need to look as this time that we're transmuting and transforming. It's a huge time in so many ways, looking at astrological signs and aspects that I've been talking about and continue to talk about, that we remember that the people that are brought in are direct and change what is appropriate through their leadership. Because right now we have a time to really converse about it. And we have social media, and the news as it is all about communication. In fact, the nodes right now are about communication. And interestingly, that time in 1969 and the time that it was released today, the nodal structure of that time, lunar nodal and now, are exactly at odds, meaning what a time to really reconfigure those elemental without going into too much about lunar nodes. But it's an 18-month process, and it is really what we're coming in with our baggage, you might say, from that moment, globally speaking, everybody, and how we're transmuting, integrating into the other. And at that time, they were in Pisces and Virgo, which you could say would be, which is very much like Neptune right now, that's squaring these nodes, where the forces at large are maybe beyond what we might consider our control. COVID, yeah, that's for sure. That's a toxin that infiltrates disease, sickness, institutions, all of that. That's that area. And how are we going to use our terms of fixing or healing? And that's the whole dialogue between those energies. And right now, we have the communication of Gemini with the belief structures and cultures of Sagittarius. And so we're really learning and expanding and struggling through all these energetic systems. And that's exactly how everything is made. You know, most of life was created on the coast between the shore and the ocean. Yeah. And it's always going to be those diametric energies that are compelling each other against each other and with each other and through each other that evolve. Energy is constantly evolving. Let's look at the chart and get some of this a little more centered. So right now, this here is the event today at 3:01 in Burbank when it was released. And we're still in this tremendous networking, community-based energy of Aquarius, you know, both the big social planets that in December had initiated this social structure of 200 years. We're changing from, so it's, you could say what we're changing from is the earth-based, because back at that time when it was significant, you could see that the energies were, Pluto was in Virgo, and in fact, it is trine our Pluto now here. So in a sense, you could think that, well, we went through 200 years of earth-based thinking, and with all that Capricorn of rules and regulations. And J. Edgar Hoover was notorious for his very close-minded opinion of rule. He was looking into Martin Luther King. He looked into the Black Panthers. He looked into the Ku Klux Klan. He thought they were all the same. It's like, hello, maybe not. Violence that changed potentially, he thought anything that was disruptive to the status quo. And the reason we have now several films if you can see here with Neptune, that relates to the film industry, capturing the greater common population of people. And it's right there on the North Node at that time. And it's squaring R. So it's bringing in uh, that energy, you could say, that in this square of, as we go towards next year, the United States with its return in for Pluto of transformation, getting back to that 27 degrees of Capricorn, it is a time to really struggle and figure out the nastiness that maybe we inherited and has grown into not pretty pictures, because every ending, like Sao, uh, Lao Tsao, Laotztzu, the Chinese philosopher said, the ugly beginning, ugly faces have the old, the new beginnings, because it for old, anyway, the old is sometimes not so pretty as we begin the new, but it is a new beginning. And we have a chance to look and see for these leaderships and redirect rather than use nature against each other as a force, rather use in a collective way. What there had been with the Black Panther ideas was it did transportation to inmates, they did food for children, and clinics. They were really trying to in some sense, incorporate, improve what was not yet established, because civil rights, the equality, it was in Virgo. How to fix? Yes, how to fix, how to improve. And with Uranus, the elevation. So right now, Uranus is in Taurus, and it is also square uh, Saturn over here, the co-ruling Saturn as with Aquarius, but so does Uranus, and it's looking for elevation. I mean, this theme is going over and over. We're reviewing during Mercury retrograde, bringing in these threads of how to see the astrology with the moment. We're reviewing way back. It doesn't just mean your schedule last month. No, it could mean like what created and put these seeds here that have grown into these trees that might be some nasty fruit or some sickness. The tree's not very healthy. So it's a huge wake up call. And interestingly, in school, I had Eldridge Stokely Carmichael come in 1966 in my school in Garfield, which was a very homogenous school, which we all loved. We had great sports, we had great community, had Black, white, Asian, a good mix there, central in Seattle. And Eldridge Cleaver came instead of Stokely, or Stokely Carmichael came because Eldridge was in prison, 1966. And he was saying that people need to create businesses and get education, and that is happening. There was a separation, there was a bit of a discord at our school. We felt, oh dear, because it was saying, it takes things so personally as a kid. But yeah, I could see the health and necessity for that. And now, 50 years later, there is thankfully Atlanta, a great city among many, that has such a strong culture. Washington, D.C. used to have that, and Detroit had that. Cities come and change. But the fact is, there's a lot of healing to be done. If you look at the chart too, we have Chiron in the United States in Aries, and that's identity. And it's not just the identity of ourself, it's how our identity as everybody connects with everybody. So this movie has a lot to be, to get our brain cells going and to understand that there were so many conflicts that have yet to be looked at in the sense of how we view real leadership and how we look at government and the necessity of of using the nature of people to collaborate in this air energy that we have, rather than the violence and fear that only projected more fear and trauma. Okay, well, thank you so much. Really glad always to have you listen, and do subscribe. There's a big button down there, and see you later. Okay.